Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, the Deputy Premier has rejected claims he withheld vital information from Parliament on the Spirit of Tasmania debacle. It comes ahead of the state budget being handed down on Thursday, with the government pledging money to keep young people safe.
Parliament returning looking a little different than before the break. The opposition kicking off question time, asking the government to come clean over the Spirit of Tasmania ship fiasco, claiming the former infrastructure minister misled the Parliament over the project's cost and port infrastructure delays.
I would never lie or mislead this Parliament or a committee of it.
The opposition questioning the Premier's loyalty.
How low have your standards fallen that you are prepared to tolerate someone who is so loose with the truth as part of your cabinet and as your Deputy Premier?
You've done nothing but talk Tasmania down every single opportunity.
The Premier attempting to reassure Parliament.
We've taken control of this project.
Despite admitting the handling of the project has been disappointing.
They are regrettable and they are unacceptable. And I apologise to all Tasmanians for those delays. Frankly, it's not good enough.
It's already $500 million over budget and 5 years delayed.
On Thursday, the Finnish ship company will hand over ownership of one of the vessels to TT Line, but it'll still take time before it makes its way to our shores. It's the same day as the government hands down its state budget. Today, the Treasurer providing another insight as to what Tasmanians can expect, announcing $423 million will be allocated to help drive delivery of the Commission of Inquiry's 191 recommendations.
This will be expensive. This will hurt the budget, but it's necessary to attempt to heal the wounds of the past.
Just a snippet of what we can expect come Thursday. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
There's been yet another delay in the case against the man accused of killing Cheyenne Lee Tatnall. Christopher Mark Jordan briefly appeared in court in Launceston this afternoon, where the matter was adjourned again. A magistrate instructing the Scottsdale man's defence to get things moving. His first appearance was more than a year ago. The Burnie teenager disappeared in April last year. Her remains found in bushland at Nabola 3 months later. The matter has been adjourned until October 8. Tasmania's Racing Minister has defended the decision to renew leading harness racing trainer Ben Yole's licence, despite facing serious allegations of race fixing, team driving and animal welfare concerns. Tas Racing had issued Mr Yole warning off notices, but it was the Office of Racing Integrity which renewed his licence.
What it says to the industry and the community is you can get away with an awful lot.
Racing Minister Jane Howlett says licensing matters are dealt with by the Director of Racing and that she's looking forward to the final report from the Stewards' inquiry. Tasmania has cleaned up in Australia's Top Tourism Towns Awards, ranking in the top 3 for each category, including the best overall, Devonport claiming the gold medal.
To go with its golden beaches, Devonport now has a medal to match, named the nation's top tourism town, winning over the judges with a solid pitch, an itinerary for a long weekend.
A gin distillery or a vineyard, or you want to go up to the Cove and stay the night because it's spectacular up on the Don Heads, or whether you just want to come to our wonderful Haynes Park and hang out or go shopping. There's so much to do while you're in Devonport.
Beating Bendigo and Roma to claim the top gong at a ceremony in Canberra.
Devonport was up against some really fierce competition from right across the country. I think the reason Devonport stood out is because it is a community that has really welcomed visitors.
A just reward after a major waterfront revitalisation. Devonport's long been a popular entry point to Tasmania and a gateway to other places like Cradle Mountain. But now with this award, it's showing it's earned its place as a holiday destination in its own right. Tasmania nabbing a podium finish in every category. Richmond taking bronze for small towns and silver for Stanley as a tiny town.
Stanley is a beautiful, thriving community. They love having visitors there. Silver is great recognition for what is an iconic Tassie tiny tourism town.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
The Greens say the newest render of the proposed Macquarie Point Stadium confirms viewpoints from the Hobart Cenotaph will be completely obliterated. The renders provided to the RSL last week show at least 3 sightlines affected by the proposal, including from Derwent Estuary, Battery Point and St George's Church. The Veterans Affairs Minister Guy Barnett says he will continue discussions with the organisation. The peak body for nurses and midwives has called on the state government to prioritise health in its budget this week. The union says even in an environment where the purse strings are being pulled tight, health must be front and centre.
We do see that there are real opportunities to invest in existing services and existing staff that will not only improve efficiency of our health services but won't require significant financial investment.
I was involved in a round table with Emily and many dozens of nurses in Launceston at the LGH just last Friday. It was very productive and collaborative.
The budget will be handed down on Thursday. Central Launceston Rotary Club will host its annual cycling event, Sally's Ride, through the Tamar Valley in November. The bike ride raises vital funds for youth mental health and suicide prevention and has attracted champion cyclist Richie Port.
Some of the scenery around here, it's just change is as good as a holiday, as they say, and I think that goes for your mental health as well. Just doing something like this, meeting good, positive people, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. We're probably never more connected, but we're also never been more alone than what we are today. So it is something that we as Rotarians are very passionate about.
For all the details about Sally's Ride on November 24 and how to register, head to the website. The supercars might have moved on, but another national event is heading to Tassie, and it's a race like no other.
A pit stop in Burnie before the race that turns back the clock. Australia's top drivers and their rides are en route to Baskerville Raceway for round 5 of the Holden HQ Nationals this weekend.
We've got the current national champion from New South Wales, Brett Osborne, and obviously he's going to be very hard to beat. The local, Phil Ashland, he's also been a national champion, he won that in Darwin. He knows the track backwards.
David Skippy Parsons knows his way around an old Holden. He won Bathurst in a VL as Peter Brock's co-driver in 1987. But this style of racing is a whole new kettle of fish.
It's really, really tight, and to be able to pull a move on someone, you've got to get in there and make your pass.
While inside looks like a race car, under the hood everything's stock, from the 6-cylinder engine to the carburetor and even the 3-speed transmission. But they go like the clappers, hitting 210 k's an hour.
They're not the old HQ, the family one that might have been stretched out downhill about 90 or 95 and everything shaking and vibrate. Totally different.
After starting here in the 80s, they say it's the world's longest running production racing series.
And because they haven't changed the rules too much anyway, that's probably why it survived. It's when they start mucking with the rules that it gets too expensive. That's what happens.
They raced at Baskerville Saturday and Sunday before heading to Symmons Plains for an invitational the following weekend. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
A business in Moona has gone up in flames, sending thick smoke across the area. Several firefighting crews were called to the Hopkins Street structure just before 4 this afternoon. Police shutting the road as they battled to bring the blaze under control. The cause is yet to be determined. 2 Tasmanian research projects are on a mission to uncover the most effective treatments for prostate cancer using genetics. Almost 10 Tasmanians are diagnosed with cancer every day, prompting calls for more to be invested in testing.
These researchers are on a mission to find out what treatment works best for Tasmanian men diagnosed with prostate cancer.
And so if we can just target them and a treatment that we know is going to work and have few side effects, it's going to be better for them in the long term.
The world-class prostate cancer research using patients' own genetics, analysing what might work for some and alternatives for others. A concept which is relatively unexplored in our state.
A research project here in Tasmania. So in America, they commonly use genetic testing.
Dr. Kelsey Raspin's project focusing on men diagnosed with high-grade forms of the cancer, meaning cells develop and spread quicker, with the body often more resistant to standard forms of treatment.
And offering them genetic testing in a research setting, which then hopefully this information will be able to be used to determine who is likely to respond to their treatment options.
Continuous funding for both projects, an essential element of the experiment.
In the last 12 months, we've invested close to $300,000 into these different types of research activities.
While there's a long way to go to eradicate the cancer completely, for survivors like John, every test and project counts.
I'm very passionate about spreading the word out there to other men, and this research here offers hope.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian aged care provider is on a mission to ensure all residents enjoy a top quality dining experience. One Care Homes, which has 5 facilities statewide, has engaged a dietitian to spruce up the food menus.
Aged care meals have been prone to a bad rap over the years, but One Care is determined to change perceptions and the menu at each of its 5 facilities throughout Tasmania. Food and culinary staff are receiving intensive training at each of its care homes so they can provide residents with a top quality dining experience.
Focus is always on food and meals and what have we got for lunch or what have we got for dinner. I think our approach is working with industry experts to help One Care drive our focus on food, be ready for the future planning that's coming with the new Aged Care Act, and to make sure that we deliver what residents want.
Dietitian Nari Hobbins has 4 decades of experience in clinical and community nutrition. By training staff at aged care homes, she hopes that meal times will be more enjoyable for residents and reduce the risks around poor nutrition.
And even though at the end of life people are consuming differently, you feel better if you've got nutrients in that keep you going and that make you, feel good.
The Royal Commission into Aged Care put facilities on notice to dish up tasty and nutritious meals. Today, these residents were enjoying not only a delicious lunch, but a glass of bubbles to celebrate the arrival of their new buses. What's the champagne like?
Well, it's pretty good. Yes, and being pink, it looks pretty.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, 4 up-and-coming musicians will be given the chance to play on the big stage at the Clarence Jazz Festival after securing scholarships, which will see them train alongside like-minded students and music tutors for the next few months.
I have very much come from the school of being a rock and roll sort of guitar player, so taking on the jazz sensibility has very much been a new world for me.
I just really want to learn more jazz stuff and learn to play with more people, and I'm looking forward to that.
It's the first time 4 scholarships have been awarded, with only 3 available in past years.
After falling short of the final hurdle last September, North Launceston has a fire in its belly, ready to avenge its loss and take out the last TSL trophy. The Northern Bombers go into the grand final with the upper hand, undefeated this season and with the home ground advantage.
Last year really hurt us and we've grown from that, and hopefully we can have a better outcome come 2 weeks' time.
Clarence and Lauderdale will face off on Saturday to decide who meets the Bombers in the big dance at UTAS next weekend. Tiger skipper Jordan Silk says the team's developed well over the winter as the last of the players returned from around the world, ready to finish what they started last season after falling short in the Shield final.
We were able to expose quite a fair chunk of our squad to first-class cricket, to one-day cricket. And I think that probably the start to the season that we had just really built the confidence within the group. So,
cricket season starts with their first one-day cup match against Victoria in just a fortnight. The Diamondbacks men are ready to turn the tables against Uni this weekend, having not played in a grand final for 45 years. The side's in a good headspace ahead of Premier League hockey's preliminary finals, back of a 3-2 semi-final win over Canterbury, and they've got a secret weapon.
In our semi-final, qualifying final, we had Hayden and Josh Belts back, and we've still got Welshie to come back. So we're fortunate to have 3 of the 4 current Tasmanian Kookaburras.
Well, the women's prelim will see top-of-the-ladder Uni take on Northwest Grads. The side is not intimidated by Uni, who are in first spot on the ladder.
The top four have all been really tight, so I think it's within, one game difference as to who is going to fall top.
The Grads securing their win during a shootout against OHA. On his way to the NBA, Jack Jumpers championship hero Jack McVeigh has revealed the role his mum played in his development as a pro basketballer while appearing on the club's new podcast.
My mum coached me until under 14s, and when I said I love basketball, I want to play basketball, my parents would say, well, you can forever if you want to. And that was kind of like the way it was approached in my house.
The Jackies are now preparing to fly to Singapore for the Intercontinental Cup after last night's loss in the NBL Blitz. And Kim, that is tonight in sport.
Okay, thanks Nick, a lovely insight. Well, Peter Murphy will join us after the break with a weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart, 19 degrees today. Launceston 16, Devonport and Burnie recorded 15. Dunalley the high with 20 as temperatures sat near or just above average. Bushy Park and Friendly Beaches 19, Grove 18, St Helens reached 16. Lowhead, Smithton and the Islands 15 today. Strawn 14, Lyowini a top of 12. Most of the rain did clear with the west overnight, but we still had low cloud over western regions and Bass Strait as high cloud also drifted by. Thunderstorms are in the cloud over central WA and southeast Queensland. Most of the rest of the state without much cover, and also the rest of Australia as well. Tomorrow a high over the Bight extends a ridge over the nation's southern coastline. Another high is over the Tasman Sea, a front right over us. The winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots from the northwest before a west to southwesterly change during the afternoon as the front passes, swells to 4 metres. A strong wind warning from Sandy Cape around the state to Low Rocky Point along with the southwest. Good to see that the flood warnings have all been finalised as well. So into tomorrow we go, and 14 for Hobart with showers easing, Geefston 12, 11 the top for Bothwell with a few showers. Launceston tomorrow, a high of 15 degrees, showery day, 14 for Devonport, showers easing later, 14 and showery for Cressy. Burnie expecting a top of 13 degrees with showers easing later, same for Strawn, showers easing from King Island, Curry a top of 15 degrees. St Helens tomorrow, a high of 17 with showers, Swansea the same, 15 the top for Orford. On Thursday, mostly fine and partly cloudy, a shower or two on King Island and the west coast. Showers extending across the state on Friday as the winds shift southwesterly again later. And on Saturday, small hail and snow to 500 metres in the south, with showers mainly over the south and west. Sunny and 25 in Perth, showers for Adelaide and Melbourne, a sunny day in Sydney, but showers forecast for Brisbane.
Thank you, Murph. Now, I know how you love to run out the door this time of night, but tonight I need you to stay put so we can celebrate an incredible milestone. Folks, this week, Peter Murphy is marking 40 years. A remarkable achievement, and we are pretty sure you are the longest-serving weather presenter in the country. So we couldn't let that pass without recognition from our viewers.
On behalf of all Tasmanians, congratulations Peter Murphy. You have been part of Tasmanians' lives for several generations.
I've loved watching him for years and years. I've been watching him since I was a kid.
Thanks Murph, you make the weather much better to watch.
I love seeing all the suits that he wears. I just adore him.
Brings great relief, happiness.
All I've got's this sunny afternoon.
Lyowini -5 last night to 12 today. We do need to warn Lyowini, you've got to stop. Enough is enough. Just stop with the -13s. We get the point. You win.
I always enjoy his sense of humour.
Really enjoy your jokes.
I just love his rapport with the newsreader and his little jokes. I think, sometimes they're a bit corny, but they brighten our day.
Joe, I was speaking to somebody on the weekend who says they watch the news just to see what we say to each other at the end, which would be this bit now. On my travels, I visited the house that I grew up in. So I thought, I'd knock on the door to see if I can have a look around for old time's sake, but my parents wouldn't let me in.
40 years on television, also 40 years of pretty ordinary dad jokes, Murph. Never mind. Cheers and congratulations.
Congratulations, Murph! 40 years on air, what a feat!
When Tassie wants weather, Tassie turns to you.
Congratulations on 40 years, mate.
Congratulations, you do a good job.
Well done, mate. Have a good one.
It's a great achievement to do 40 years in any industry, let alone the media and TV.
Congratulations for lasting so long. I hope you last as long as I do.
And I love to live so pleasantly. Live this life of luxury.
Good evening. Ben and Adam enjoying a beer on the roof. Well, a trough and a cold front passed the state today, bringing with it quite some heavy cloud, and I'll be putting money on it being a fine day tomorrow, and stick my neck out, it'll be fine on the weekend too.
In the summertime. In the summertime.
So Murph, a whole lot of looks, 40 years, and you still haven't got the weather right.
I guess that's why I'm still here. Well, look, Kim, that's very overwhelming. Thanks to all the team here for marking that occasion, and of course to you and your predecessor, Joe Palmer, and all the news presenters way back to 1984, I think, when I first graced the studio with Tim Lester, who was on tonight. Got to thank the 40 years of viewers as well. I think a couple are still watching. And to my harshest critic and fashion coordinator, matching the ties and jackets, wife Donna, very lucky bloke I am. And I have been told, though, Kim, that management has completed all the research and found that in the history of television in Australia, no one has ever stayed at the bottom rung of the ladder as long as me. Yay.
You underestimate your professionalism. Thank you, Murph, and thanks for those 40 years on behalf of all the viewers. That is all your news for now. Good night.